Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments, the best growth mindset podcast recognized by Million Podcasts and ranked as a top mindset podcast by FeedSpot. We're proud to be in the top 1% on Listen Notes. Join Dr. Alisa Whyte as we explore powerful insights and strategies to elevate your mindset. Let's dive in.
Imagine raising 12 children while pioneering some of the most advanced detox and neurotherapies available today. My guest knows firsthand the intersection of pain, trauma, and healing because her journey began with her own daughter's cerebral palsy. Today, she stands as a global voice for cellular healing, trauma recovery, and restoring the body at its deepest level. I am speaking about the beautiful Dr. Virginia Marston. She is an American board-certified neuropathic doctor and a registered nurse in Mexico. With over 30 years of hands-on experience, she blends ancient wisdom with science-based modalities like neurotherapy, radiology, membrane medicine, ozone therapy, and family constellation therapy. You guys know I'm going to get more excited. She's about all the things. She's about all the things that Dr. Alisa is about. As a mother of 12, she brings unmatched compassion and perspective to her healing practice at La Luz Wellness Center in Chihuahua, Mexico, where she focuses on detox, trauma recovery, and immune restoration. She is also an instructor, keynote speaker, and lecturer, equipping others with natural alternative approaches to whole person health. Dr. Virginia Marston is here at Mindset Mastery Moments. Dr. Virginia, we are so honored to have you with us today on the podcast. Welcome, welcome. Tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it in your own words.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I love this interview. I already love you. You're amazing. My history, my story, you pretty much said it all. Obviously, as a mother of a disabled child, you could go to nursing school, you can go to naturopathic school, and there's nothing that's going to prepare you and train you for something as traumatic as your own child being disabled, right?
Yes.
So because when my daughter had her accident, I just assumed that, of course, I'm going to take them to Dr. Gonzalez and I'm going to take them to this doctor and they know it all,
Yes.
And you just assume that they have the answer. And in reality, I was in shock when you have that extensive brain injury that she had an anoxia where she didn't have oxygen. She wasn't breathing for an hour. So it was quite extensive. And I was already an RN by that time, and I was working in a hospital, so I had a lot of experience also, I thought. Well, once as time went by, I started realizing, you know what? That world that I was a part of in nursing school and in working in hospitals just wasn't going to work for my daughter. And I had to face reality. And before you knew it, I started just doing everything in my power to do research, to look everywhere that I possibly could to find help. And I was very fortunate because I had a niece that was developmentally delayed, and she was working with Dr. Viola Fryman. She's a doctor from an osteopathic center for children in San Diego, California. She helped me a lot. She taught me a lot. And then I met another doctor, and they were all in this world, okay? This was a different world for me. Then I met Dr. Patricia Kane, which is someone that has all these amazing therapies that help you regenerate your brain. And, even though I did so many therapies, I traveled all over the world doing research and studying. Sometimes we just have to accept that they have other plans. No matter what we do, no matter how hard we try, they have a destiny. And a lot of times we don't understand what their destiny is. And a lot of times it's hard for us to accept, but I know that there came a time that I finally realized, oh, wow, I don't know that she's actually going to be a normal human being. And what was a normal human being? It was like, we have this perception, this idea that's a false idea because we come to fulfill and accomplish certain mission. And, she accomplished hers. She did. She lived for 18 years. She taught me for 18 years. She trained me, and boy, did she train me in intensive care. I learned a lot. And I think that what happens when you have so much trauma like that, you don't really know how to cope with that. And you kind of just drown yourself in survival, you could say.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I learned so much with every experience that I had with her. And I'm very, very thankful. And I will tell you, as a child, I always grew up, telling my brothers I was raised very, very poor. I always told my brothers and my sisters, I'm going to be a doctor and I'm going to travel all over the world. And, oh, please, shut up. They always teased me. And I was like, no, I'm really serious. I've already been there. I had already had these ideas. I had been to places.
Yes.
I saw things. I mean, here I was with no running water, no electricity, and dirt floors, having these crazy dreams, right? So
yeah.
It's just beautiful to think that it's all here, and it has to do with the purpose. It's about something greater than ourselves.
And what our environment tells us, right?
Yeah. And for so long I was told, well, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. And I go, but why not? Just help me understand, because I'm just trying to use common sense. I'm just trying to figure out what works. And I realized that working in a hospital when I was a nurse, the doctors tell you what to do. They'll, prescribe all these different medications. We have to give these patients medications, and they walk away. We had to sit there and watch them have nausea. We saw them headaches, all these rashes. They didn't get to see what we saw. So we had a firsthand look at what that system was actually doing to our patients, right? So then realize, what, this is not for me. But then, of course, my daughter has her accident. And then I start realizing, yes, I always wanted to do this, but I always say, be careful what you ask for. You just might get what you ask for. And I always tell everyone, no one in the world would be willing to pay that price. And, trust me, no one understands or knows, because how was I to know, right? So the most important thing is that I understand that she had a purpose. She fulfilled her purpose. She passed when she was 18 years old. She prepared me for what I'm doing now. We now have an amazing, and of course, the center is named after my daughter, Mary. Her name was Mary of the Light. In Spanish, it's called María de la Luz. So our center is named La Luz Wellness Center. And, La Luz just means light. I mean, and what more could you ask for? Because when we're detoxing our patients, it's not about just, cleaning out the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, that, because that's what we specialize in, right?
Yes.
But a lot of times you get to a point where a lot of these blockages, a lot of our illnesses is our inability to let go. And that's where we have to be able to see, this person ready to heal? Do they want to? So for many years, I always understood that, but I didn't quite know how to navigate that. And it became quite challenging for me. So now what I'm doing, for probably like the last 7 years, what I decided is that every person that comes in and intensive care, what we do is we do a family constellation. Let's say they have cancer, they have Alzheimer's, they have terminal diseases. And you know what? I'll do a family constellation. And in the family constellation, it's revealed to them and to me whether they have decided that they're going to go, that they're going to cross over. So once we know that they've made that choice and they make that clear to me, then I always tell them, and I let them, they're witnessing. I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth. They're seeing it. And I don't even comment about that. I just let them know that I'm aware that I do not want to take their money. I don't want to spend their time, that I feel that if that's a choice that they've made, I totally respect it. But I do know this much. If they've made up their mind on a different level that they're going to go, I don't care what therapies they use. It could be the most advanced therapies in the world, and boy, do I know about them.
Yeah.
They're going to go because they've already decided, and that's their destiny. Yeah. So now I do that, and then I'll sit down and I'll talk to them. I'll talk to the family, and I'll just be completely respectful. And again, I don't say you've decided to go. They were there. They were in the family constellation. And a lot of them will just see it, accept it, and say, I do want to go. Literally, they'll tell me, I do want to go. I don't want to be here anymore. And I said, okay. You have that right. Not that I do anything. I just tell them, if you choose to do anything, if the family wants to do something, I would just say to them that I highly recommend that they go somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
Yes.
You're just not going to.
Yes. Because it's not right for me to take
you already in your conscience.
Yes. And I'm a very honest woman, and I
Yes.
will not. That money doesn't drive me in any
It's
way, shape,
against
or
your
form.
value. Yes,
Yes,
against your
exactly.
value. Yeah. So powerful. One of the things you said that stood out too in the same space about, I know you're working with detoxing and healing in a way that not as traditional medicine or not typical medicine anyway. But do you believe that the same principle applies to someone who might be going to a regular traditional type medicine or not as high level treatments as you provide, if they have decided that my ADD, my acidic stomach is flaring up, and they're just on it where like, this is my life. I just came now so I can get at ease and not be so intense. If they have made a decision that this is mine, this is how I own it mentally, do you believe that it's also almost difficult to help them recover?
Well, I will be
That that's
honest
a
with you.
mindset thing, if that's how they're
So
okay, that's
when
it.
when I do an orientation with them and I interview them, I realize that it's their parents sometimes, like, oh, my mom really wants me to go, even though I don't want to go, but she wants me to go, or my husband, and I always tell them, I talk to the person that's going to come. I don't want to talk to your mom. Yeah, I'll let them be there. I want them to be involved, but I want to hear what you have to say. Because if
Mhm.
you don't want to get ready, if you're not ready to heal and you're not ready to take it's because it's your body. No one's going to force you to eat. No one's going to force you to discipline yourself. No one's going to force you to think different. So why would you waste someone's money and time? Why would
Come
you?
on now.
You know? And again, having 12 children, I'm really, really good. Like, I have very, very good, disciplined children, hardworking, they're very responsible. From the time that they're a year old, they empty out the trash, they dump out their diaper, things
Yeah.
like that, and
That's
it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
no,
They
it's
come
the
up with
most
all these
beautiful
ideas that
thing because they're some of the best humans on the planet when they are so responsible and accountable at an early age.
absolutely. And you literally make them feel good about being useful, make them feel good about being a part of something we love cleanliness. Like, we just love
I
clean
can
beds
tell.
and clean
Yes.
sheets, and so it's nice, and we're a family that we get each other, right? So, but
Right.
the most important thing is that when a patient comes and they're not ready to heal, we are wasting time. And this is what I tell all the patients. I'm not willing to work harder than you do. Understand that. I will not. If you don't come in here and you do not follow things up, I will give you your money back. And you
Come
can leave.
on. You're
It's
speaking
not,
my language. I
yeah,
do that
I
in
mean,
coaching too. I will not work
absolutely,
harder than you, and I will give you your
absolutely
money
not.
back.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and I always tell them, it's so funny because I tell them, what are you here for? Like, what's the purpose of you being here? I mean, my
mhm.
purpose is to serve you, to give you everything that you need, give you the tools, teach you how to eat, teach you how to let go of a lot of false ideas, false emotions and belief systems that have governed your life in a negative way. That's my goal. I'm here to serve you. But
Yeah.
I can't just I can't just, I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to
Yeah.
plead with you. Before you come, you have to know that you're coming, and you're very much aware that it's your work. I'm not going to heal you. I don't heal anyone. I don't have that power.
Right.
You're going to do the healing. You're going to go through the process. You're going to let go of these things. Because a lot of times, if we have patients, let's just say that they have severe problems with their thyroid, we have to do emotional work with them, because thyroid is connected to a lot of unworthiness, of not being able to speak their mind and thinking that what they have to say is not important. And so we have to work with that. A lot of times we'll be in the middle of a colonic, and we could see that the liver is not releasing, that the bile duct is not contracting, and it's not letting go. So then what we'll do is we muscle test every single day. Everything that we do, we muscle test the body. And then the body tells us what that's connected to and what we could do to support it. So once we find out what the problem is, what the root of the problem is, then we'll address it right then and there. We don't have to wait.
Yes.
or anything. And then once you, let's say that sometimes they're just really, liver is a lot of resentment and anger. And then we'll muscle test them and ask them how they were when they got that pattern. They created that pattern in the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll find out who it's connected to. And then we'll do the work, whatever it is. And then literally right there, while they are in a colonic, all of a sudden you see this.
Flow.
Where everything starts coming out. So it's amazing. That's all I could tell you.
Yeah, powerful. So definitely she, as a doctor that is doing all this work, is telling us that there is such a powerful mind-body connection. Powerful mind-body connection that goes all together. And so I don't know, that's holistic medical treatment. That's for me as I call myself a mad mind scientist, even though I don't have the credentials to go with it, because I'm always inquisitive about it. I'm always learning and going deeper and deeper, way more than a PhD can afford me. But it's such a learning. I'm still learning. For me, that's it. That's what it is. And I believe that anything that I've overcome so many things. If we sat here, we'll be here for at least another hour just talking about all the things I've gone through medically and what they give me and blah, blah, blah. But nothing really changed until I changed my mind. And then healing in medical and without medical became so simple, and it accelerated the path. So to see when someone is in a chronic situation, or almost, looking at a very limited life, a way of being and doing, and now they're able to sit here and you're working with them that way, it's just so dynamic. But here's a question I have for you about, you do electromagnetic frequency exposure, where you're treating your clients. Is for our listeners who may not connect their devices to their health, what should they know about EMFs and impact on the body and the nervous system?
Wow. That's a loaded question. I will tell you, probably the most important thing, if I could just run down all the different things that we're doing and we're not conscious of what the consequences are.
Yeah.
Probably our phones. Oh my gosh, I can't emphasize. I muscle test, and I will find a man with huge muscles, very, very strong. I can just put a phone in their field, test their arm, and they will drop, because it interferes so very much with we're electrical beings. Our brain is a generator of electricity. Our entire nervous system. You put a phone next to it and it creates a short and a blockage instantly. The closer it is, the weaker you are, literally. And I don't care how strong you are. I've worked with bodybuilders. I've worked with firemen that think they have these great muscles. And they're like, no, do it again. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. So the phone is the number one, because especially for men, causes sterility. Men have very you put and they're always putting their phone in their pocket.
In their pockets. That's what I was thinking.
Yes. Well, I'll give you an example. I had a patient at the age of 22. Thank goodness he was married, because his wife helped me a lot. He was 22 years old. He had his private phone on one side and he had his business phone on the other side. And I said, do you realize that every time that phone rings, you're roasting your nuts? Do you have any idea how dangerous that is? He was 22 years old and he had prostate cancer. How is that even possible? But his wife, I told her what to do, how to do it. It's injections in different places with different types of treatments. And within a very short time, he did amazing. He got rid of the phones. Yes, absolutely. Within like 6 weeks. But he got rid of the phones and put them, and then he bought special cases. There's special cases to protect you from your phones. And again, muscle testing is one of the most powerful therapies or tools that you could use for anything, whether it be testing your kids on the type of food that they should have, whether it be the type of medications, vitamins, anything. It's amazing what you could do with learning to understand muscle testing, which we call it's ART, autonomic response testing. So
Okay.
once you understand that, it just makes everything a lot easier. But back to everything that is EMF, just having your smart television plugged into the wall. We have meters where we go into every single room where our patients are, and we make sure that the EMF, the electromagnetic interference, is down below 50. That's not going to interfere with your field. But we'll go to a television and it's at least 58,000. You know, the smart watches, they're like 3 million.
They want that people sleep with.
Yes.
I don't sleep with mine.
Everybody has it. Oh, it's monitoring how many steps I take, how many calories I burn. And I'm like, yeah. And it's completely destroying your energy, your field. And you know what? I know this is going to be a little bit far out.
Oh my goodness. I would remove it because Lord, keep talking.
So after all the years, and this is something you're not going to hear it very often. A lot of people say that your immune system is in your gut flora.
Yes, we've been talking about it a lot in my circles the last couple days.
Yeah, but something. Your aura, your field, your magnetic field that's around your body that protects you from energy, that protects you from probably dark things kind of wanting to come into your field.
Yeah.
It's interesting. One thing that I've learned, and you'll have to get to know me because I'm way out there.
No,
but
go.
This
podcast goes wherever you take us. So
well,
don't
good.
stop.
I'm going. So in your field, there are different things that we do that create an opening. And I have such a strong, how would I say it? Maybe testimony, experience of knowing that when we get exposed to EMF, it makes a crack in our field. It's interfering and it allows an opening where a lot of times darkness can come in. Another thing that I've learned about is all of the parasites. I mean, you ask me anything and I'm going to respond. Liver and parasites. Just know my first word is going to be liver and parasites.
That's where you're going to go to check first.
So if you don't clear up the liver and you don't get all the sludge, all the stones, all of that, all those toxins out of there, it's a joke that you're doing a parasite treatment because these parasites are so intelligent. You know what they do? They'll see that you're giving them a parasite treatment and there's already all this great food from old, white sugar, flour, and toxins and cereals and all the things that we eat that are toxic. They're all embedded in nice little places in our digestive tract. And they mutate. As soon as they see that you're giving them a treatment, as long as there is food for them, they're going to go and hide. And they're going to live very nice off of those foods. But they'll mutate and go there. And then you think, I did a parasite treatment. They have no idea. If you're not getting something out this long, every single day for 1 to 2 months, you're not doing the right treatment. Once we get them through their initial stage it's only like a 5-day. It's an initial stage that we prepare their body to get rid of things from their liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. Then we put them on a parasite treatment. Within 9 hours, you've got snakes coming out of them. And it's like 98% of all patients. It's a given thing.
When you say snakes, that's the consistency of the...
No, parasites that are...
truly that big?
Oh, yeah. 2 to 5 feet long. Yes, and I have the largest collection probably in the world of the largest stones that plug up our colonic machine. We've got parasites we have to get a big stick to kind of lift them up and pull them out of the toilet. I mean, it's crazy. And we do not realize that a lot of the traditional medications and vaccines have a lot of spores in them. And
meaning it actually creates breeding ground for?
They're spores. They're parasite eggs. They're microscopic. You can't see them.
So these are actually parasites being implanted.
You're getting
no, I
them
can
when
believe
you're a
that because
baby.
I hear it. Yes, I've heard it before.
Yes. And they're breeding in there. It doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, I've had 5-year-olds that get rid of something that's 15 inches long. 5-year-olds. How is that even possible?
Haven't been alive that long.
They do get their traditional updates on their things, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah, the things.
So,
yeah. And what about us who are born, like I was born in South America and we had to get all these different vaccines. Were those well, I was born in 1980 to be exact. Were we getting vaccinated with that too?
Yeah.
Wow. I have to be in Chihuahua, Mexico. Oh,
sweetie, you know what I tell people? I feel like, see, I have a friend that's 100 years old and he graduated from Harvard Medical School at the age of 14. And he was telling me that when he was 14 years old, everyone that graduated from 6th grade kind of already knew what everybody in college already is knowing. I mean, that's how dumbed down we have become. We don't use common sense. We don't use common sense anymore. We used to use common sense. So here's a thing that I tell people. We have ancient books. We have old books that talk about people living for hundreds of years. So there's thousands of years of history that we have that kind of nobody pays attention. I mean, even like, for example, the Bible. The people in the Bible lived for hundreds of years.
Yes, they did.
Where in the Bible does it say that we need to get vaccinated or take medications?
None of it. None of the ancient books speak on it.
Why are we not the same?
And this diet and that diet and this diet.
Everybody gets tied up and hung up on all this.
No.
It's like, freaking go live the way we used to live.
That is my thing. Yes, that is my message. That is my desire and message. I go as close back, like for dinner before I got on this call, it was okra and some steak, and that's it, okra and steak. And I cook it with a little bit of olive oil, but that's how I was raised. Had someone on the podcast and she's an Ayurvedic doctor and she's like, all this conversation about diet, go back to the diet that your ancestors ate. So like if you are from Mexico, it might be a certain diet. If you're from South America, it might be. She's like, because that whole, you are like, for me particularly when I had the change. So I came from living in Guyana, South America, and eating actual organic garden vegetables that if I didn't plant it, we had a garden lady, we call it greens lady. She brought the greens wrapped in a, it was like the rice bags, but it's tattered, and she would open it out on our porch and we would take out our vegetables that she picked from her garden. And that was, she went with it on our head. And so you can't tell me. And if she didn't, now I planted, my grandparents and my mom taught me. So I was big into gardening. I had my own garden. But when I got older and I had my own business at 17, I was sure that I started my own preschool. I didn't have as much time for everything. So I would buy from the greens lady. But no matter when I buy organic or whatever I buy here in the US, is never the same. But when I came, within less than 4 months, I gained like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was technically cooking the same things I was eating, but I was trying the different ice creams, the different cheeses, because in those countries, we don't have all these different cheeses. We don't have all these different candies, and our cheeses are pure. Like Kerrygold, that was the cheese we got. And if I try to buy Kerrygold butter and cheese here, I am paying 3 times as much than all the other butters and I'm like, what is the deal? This is the butter I was eating every day when I did eat butter, So there's so many differences in that. But the minute I got as close to possible to eating the diet I was used to in South America, check me out, from 196 pounds to 123 pounds.
Good for you.
In 8 months, I did that. Because the other thing too, Dr. Virginia, is that I realized that in my country, I ate one meal a day. So we didn't eat breakfast till around 11. And it was technically lunch. It was a meal with protein, vegetable starch, and a glass of fruit juice that was made from the tree that we crushed the fruit, right? And we put water because we didn't have a blender. So it wasn't blended and a bunch of additives. And that was a meal. So I said, let me try that here. And that contributed. So that brought me to fasting. Also, I didn't eat late at night. There's no snacks. We couldn't afford that. So I said, let me go back to eating that way. This is where we end up.
Yeah. I think that's amazing because I even tell my children and I tell my patients, you don't understand. It's crazy because when I was young, I was living in Baja California, Mexico, and we had the Baja Run. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they would have a lot of Americans going down on their buggies and everything.
Yes, I've heard of it.
All these Americans, and mind you, my mother is an indigenous Mexican woman, so she was like, you can call me white. Yeah, you can call me a white girl because I turned out like my father, but my mother is very indigenous. So when I would see them coming, I would and they would come in like motorhomes and they had these boxes of cereal and gallons of milk. And we're like, oh my gosh, we would just like, Mom, where do we get those? Where do you get those? We didn't have them in Mexico.
Yes, we did not.
And do you know that me growing up, if I wanted to eat breakfast, I had to go to the chicken coop. If I wanted a chicken soup, I had to go get the chicken and
get we cooked. We picked.
You learn how to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, we did all of that. I had to haul water out of the well.
Yes.
We didn't have refrigerators.
I went down to what we call a pipe,
Yes.
The main.
And we had outhouses, the whole,
the whole thing.
So I know what that's like. But I was always kind of jealous of all those people that would come down that just had so easy, they
pour their cereal and then they poured a pan of tuna and I had to clean fish.
Yeah, imagine that. And I thought, you know what? Now that I'm almost 60 years old.
Anything for that all day.
I'm like, thank God that I was poor and didn't have access to all of that because
a better
I have nothing to complain about. I'm so healthy. I'm so blessed to have the health that I have. And when I look at people, oh gosh, and they'll try to tell me after their cleanse, oh, when can I start eating again, normal? And I go, what is your normal? And I say, when do you want to start feeling like crap again?
That's the question.
Right there. If you're ready to go back to where you came from, and that's fine with me. You have every
How
right,
soon would they have to be back if they went back to exactly where they came from? How soon would they need another one of those treatments?
Oh my goodness.
Within a year?
Can I tell you something? In the world that we live in now, it is so different that I recommend everyone, including myself, that I eat pretty clean. I do 2 to 3 cleanses a year. And we don't live in the same world that we used to.
No.
There are so many chemtrails. There are so many toxicities. There's so much EMF. People think that all this EMF that has to do with phones, with electricity and televisions and all, they don't understand it's not just interfering with the way that your energy works. It's interfering with the way that your organs, there's electricity or energy that's going to your organs to make them work the way they're supposed to. But when you're interfering with that, they're slowing down. So if your liver,
the way they function,
let's just say that, it affects it like 30%. So let's just say that you're just producing 30% less bile, less pancreatic enzymes. Well, are you going to digest your food? Absolutely not.
This is why we all suffer with indigestion, constipation, tired, inflamed. My goodness, decades. Okay, got you. So you all heard that. Restoring, you have to go through these treatments regularly in the time we live. You know what's funny, Doc? When I was younger, every month, we took a glass of senna leaves every month. And then there was also there are certain teas that were boiled herbs that you just pick and boiled. And those were our teas that we drank regularly. And we don't have that. And that's why I talk about that all the time, that we don't detox here. We don't do that. I have to because that's why I need to come to Chihuahua. But I suffer with TMI. I suffer with constipation majorly ever since I was born. So I am always having to do these detoxes that are probably not as effective. You'll probably take a whole city,
Yeah.
whole city out of my colon.
Can I tell you something? This is one thing that I've learned is that a lot of times the patients, they want to go and do cleanses at home, and that keeps them alive. That keeps them where they're surviving. They're
Not
just
thriving.
kind
You
of
still deal
surviving.
with a lot of
Yes.
tiredness, fatigue, pain,
Yeah.
pain in the joints. I can tell you, I
Normal
know.
as you get older. Here's the biggest problem is that people are not aware that we have about 2,000 feet of ducts that bleed gastric juices into our digestive tract, specifically the common bile duct, which is the largest one. This common bile duct is directly connected to your liver, your pancreas, and your gallbladder. When the
Yes.
liver gets congested, it blocks it and it affects the pancreas. The pancreas gets congested, it affects, so it's just kind of like they're always interfering with each other because they're using the same
Right.
duct. So if you try to imagine there's this tree, the trunk that's in your, it's like branches that are in your liver, and those are all ducts inside of your liver, and they're
Oh,
completely full of sand and slush. Well, you're supposed to produce at least 1 liter of bile a day. Do you know that humans don't do that anymore? And that's why they're
wow.
constipated. And why aren't they doing it? Is because it's kind of like the car. When you get this beautiful clean oil inside of a car, it's see-through, right? It's kind of green and fluorescent.
Yeah.
What happens when it goes over and over and over into the system? It gets thicker. It gets thicker and thicker until the light goes on and says, you got to change the filters and you got to change the oil.
Oil.
Now, what happens if you don't do that? What if you don't change the oil? Well, the engine is just going to blow. Why? Because it's so thick and dirty in there that it's not going to be able to move. That's what
Wow.
happens to us. Our organs can't function. They can't produce the gastric juices. They all play a very important role. But if they're
Wow.
congested, you can do all these juicing. You could do all these cleanses and stuff. That's great. But you're not going to reach those because those are once they're plugged, they're plugged. I know people that have been doing juicing and cleansing for 10 years and they're still sick. They're still alive and they've kept themselves alive, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, it's a whole lot more than we think. So when those ducts are plugged, we have to use sonic waves and we send frequencies to the different organs and we blast them as hard as we can to break up all that sediment, all those stones, and dissolve it so that they can move.
They can move. And how
it-
long does that take for you to be able to get that? Is
It's
that a day's
because-
work or a couple of days?
No. Right now, for example, someone that's not sick, someone that's not, that has already done a lot of cleansing and they're still, so if you're doing a cleanse and you're still constipated, you did not break that up, period. So we recommend an average of like 2 weeks, you could say, because it's a lot of work to blast.
Yes,
Because
because you
it's
can't take
thousands of
all that
feet.
pressure at the same time. Yeah.
So, and then people that just want little tune-ups that are not sick and still have a little more bowel movements than most, they, in 10 days, they come in. But it's amazing because it's not just your liver, your gallbladder, your pancreas, your kidneys, your skin. It really moves a lot of things out. And once they're finished with that phase, they go home and then they're doing like 2 months and they'll send me pictures. Oh my gosh, pictures and pictures. So we look at everything. Let's say that, because I could read eyes. I'll read a person's eyes and I'll say, oh, you have a cyst in the left ovary, your tonsils are in, whatever. And I'll look at all of that. And depending on what I see, I'll decide what kind of a program they're eligible for. Because think about it. If you've got stones this big and your ducts are this small, how are you going to get that to go through? A lot of people that suffer of nauseousness, people that suffer of headaches, it actually means that a lot of this sludge that's in your gallbladder is trying to get through and it gets stuck. So when it gets stuck, it's a reflex. You automatically want to throw up. So that already tells me, I'll ask them a few questions and that already tells me they're blocked. So if I say to them, oh, just go do this cleanse at home, and they have a stone this big, do you have any idea what will happen to them if I try to get them on a cleanse at home and they don't know how to break that up? They'll end up in the emergency room and have their gallbladder removed. So I've had to be really careful. So now I know how to read the eyes so that I could tell how congested the gallbladder and the liver are. So I could tell if they're candidates that need intensive care, need a lot of blasting and a lot of breaking up before we can.
Or
it's not what people think it is. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to just go do a cleanse and poop a lot and then do a flush and olive oil and grapefruit. Yeah, that's really nice for someone that's not severe, but we happen to have some pretty tough cases. But we have packages for those that are not, and we have packages for those that are severe.
Right. So would they stay 2 weeks with you?
Yes.
If they need to do the initial work, if they need the intensive, they're chronically suffering. So interesting. I want to talk before we wrap a little bit about generational trauma and the neural therapy work that you do with the trauma recovery and even the family constellation therapy. I wanted to kind of dive in that a little bit. How do you see generational trauma showing up in the body and in the health outcomes? And can you talk to us a little bit more about that you use to unravel through that?
Constellation is the understanding that we literally are spiritually connected to our ancestors, whether we want it or
believe it or not.
You don't have to believe it. It just is. And if you do a family constellation, you'll understand.
Yeah.
But what happens is that subconsciously, we are entangled in our families' entanglements and webs without knowing about it. And what tends to happen is that it's crazy because it's even sometimes skips generations and it does this, you just never know where in the family. For example, let me just give you a brief example. Let's say, okay, one example is I had a 24-year-old young lady that suffered severe anxiety, severe depression. Her parents they had money. She had her mom or dad. They loved her. They spoiled the heck out of her. She had everything she wanted. She was always depressed and unhappy. And so when we did the family constellation, we had the representatives for the mom and the dad. And then you could see that she just was upset at the father. She didn't want to be close to him. She would just kind of like, I'm mad at him. And what had happened is that the father had an affair about 20 something years ago, around the same time that her mother was pregnant with her. I ended up having a child out of wedlock. And he just said, hey, no, I'm married. My wife's not going to accept this, and just abandoned them. Right? Didn't support her, didn't acknowledge her, didn't anything. So without knowing, she was suffering this disconnect, this loneliness, this depression. Like, why didn't my father want me? Why doesn't he love me? So she kept saying these things, and her father's like, but I do love you. What are you, crazy? But it was because she was carrying that for her sister. And it was crazy because right after the constellation, she runs to the phone and she calls her father and she says, Father, I need you to tell me I have a sister. And he went into shock, obviously. And he's like, who told you that? Who told you that? I just need to know if I have a sister. Because the sister in the family constellation said to her, I want to be a part of my family, of my father. I need a father too, And so she kind of like carried all of her pain and all of her sorrow and took it out on her father, not knowing what she was actually doing. That's an entanglement. And you know how people say that what you don't know can't hurt you?
That is the biggest lie ever. That is the thing that hurts you the most.
Absolutely.
You don't know what to do.
Yeah. And you know what was so beautiful is that she was able to find her sister. They became best friends.
Wow.
And he had to deal with the fact that his wife was going to do whatever she had to do to deal with it. Years. But yes. So, and that's true healing. That is true healing, because sometimes she didn't need antidepressants. She didn't need medications. Right. So I'm just giving you an example, and how family dynamics has a role that those that are being excluded from the family are the ones that are manifesting their pain and their sorrow through your children. And you won't even, it's crazy how that works. But
run that again. Okay. You got to back us and run us. Okay. You said the ones who are excluded from the family.
Yes. Let me give you an example.
Yes.
Let's just say that a father tells his oldest son, hey, we're all lawyers. You need to go to school and you need to become a lawyer and we're going to open up our practice and whatever. And the son says, well, no, I don't want to. I actually don't want to. And the father's, of course you have to. He's like, so, okay, I'm going to disown you. You get out of here. I'm not going to help you anymore. You're disowned. So then he has another son and the other son comes in and he says, oh, but you're going to do it, right? You're going to follow the family tradition. So what's happening is he's excluding the older son and bringing in the other one, taking his place from him. You can't do that.
Making him a seat filler. Yeah.
So if this man goes in, has a family, somewhere in his children, he's going to have someone that acts just like his older brother. It's insane how it works because he was excluded. So that's why we learn the principles of honoring and we accept that everyone has their own path and you give your children the liberty and the freedom to make mistakes and teach them to grow from those mistakes instead of trying to protect them and shelter them. Sometimes they make mistakes and you're not going to fix it for them and you shouldn't because then you're going to rob them from the opportunity of growing and learning. So, and that's part of understanding all these dynamics. The truth has to come out. Bert Hellinger, that's the icon of family constellations, he literally understood how all these connections took place. And it was amazing. It's truly, I have seen absolute complete miracles. I have seen people in wheelchairs for 6 years come in and do the constellation and come in into the clinic walking the next morning. And I'm like, whoa, what happened to you? What are you doing? Are you crazy? Sit down. Don't do that. And they're like, no, I feel fine. So, and of course, I don't heal them. I don't fix them. I just help them to disentangle themselves from whatever they're connected to.
The webs of the constellation.
Yes. And we literally have scissors and we cut them and we teach them to honor and love their parents, even if they're not perfect. We tell them,
yes,
I accept you just the way you are, and I'm thankful that you gave me the opportunity.
One thing I learned.
And experience life. And what happens to us is that when we see people we don't like, we create this wedge of separation, whether they be our parents, our children, our friends. Why? Because we're passing judgment upon them. Stop judging them. Let them make their mistakes. If you can encourage them, help them, that's great. If not, get out of their way and let them do their thing, because then we get entangled into their web.
Yes.
Judgment, passing judgment upon anyone, I don't care who it is, just know that you're entangling yourself with them and you're creating a problem that you don't need. So that is
this done. Young man, David Guyam said he talks about Kabbalah. Kabbalism, I think is the name of the spiritual practice. And he said it, and somehow it was the first time I heard it, but it made so much sense to my soul. I did not learn about constellation and family constellation until just about a year ago when I had a podcast guest on she was from South Africa. And she specializes in that and neurotherapy. Now, for me, as we sat and we were talking about this on the episode, realized that I have been tapping into constellations because ever since I was a child, I've been I was working very, very young on both my parents' side and then each side of theirs. And I was making family trees and learning about who is who and who is who and getting names and seeing how much I could get from the elders before they pass on. And I drew charts and stuff. She said, you were making a constellation. She's like, you're a teller.
Yes.
And I'm like, but now I have to dig deeper because I believe that they are things like I shared. And again, like I said, we do go into spaces that make some people uncomfortable. But a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, as I was driving, aunts and grandmother that I've never met, they passed even before my birth. They were in the car, backseat, riding with me. I could see them. And at first I was afraid of them. And then I was like, I'm now understanding they're always with me.
Yes.
It's just that I just somehow, whatever opened up for me, I can see them. So it didn't make me uncomfortable. And I wasn't thinking, what evil spirits? I just felt, okay, so my angels, all right, whatever. But I felt one of the things I started doing is saying, that I am living and all the things that are good that were
Mhm.
with them and all the great things that they intended to do, whatever it I'm attached to it, that I receive it, and all the things that they need healing from, I release it to be healed, and that's it. Don't see their faces as much anymore, but sometimes I can feel the presence. But a
Yes.
lot of things that are so unexplained in my life, the minute I start to offer forgiveness and love and ask for clarity and information, I think that's also part of my physical healing, why my body recovered from being massively obese, high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, all these things that I've gone through. It was over the journey of releasing some things that had nothing to do with me and my current journey.
Exactly.
Weird story, but I still have so much to do on constellations. I wanted to see if you had something that you can do practically with me. I'm wide open. Maybe it takes 2 to 3 minutes that you want to uncover, because a lot of times I love to show I am the what should I say? I am the muse at times, if it's possible, or maybe in our next episode we can do it, because you're definitely coming back. We can't talk about everything in this episode.
I don't know. Oh, wow.
You don't have anything coming up.
No. I got to tell you something. So there's a woman on your left side. She has this beautiful, like red, where she lifts up her hair, beautiful red, like ribbon. It's like a cloth that she holds her hair up in it, very beautiful. And she's just beautiful. She actually looks a lot like you. You guys and she's telling me that she's so proud of you. She's standing tall, and I have the chills all over my body. I don't even know if you could see that, but she is so proud of you. I mean, she's just so proud of you. She's like, yes, it's like, yeah, that's, and I mean, I feel like, I don't know if she's a grandmother.
She is.
Yeah.
And I never met her before. It's
Yeah.
my grandmom. If she looks like me, it's probably my mom's mom.
Yes, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. But she's so proud of you, and she's just like cheering you on. And she is confirming that she is constantly, that everything that you're doing, and she almost says, you know what? I'm sorry that you've had to go through the challenges that you've had to go through, but you don't realize that you're doing a lot of healing, a lot of generational healing. And we're here and we're so proud of you. And you have like an army. You have an army behind you of angels that love you. They watch over you. They protect you. And it's pretty awesome, actually. It is pretty awesome. And yes, she has her arms around you. My gosh. And I'm going to be honest, I don't usually do this, so I apologize if it makes anyone feel uncomfortable.
Too bad, too sad. I needed it. This is our space. I absolutely needed that. And I'm almost certain that it's my mom's mom. And
She's already confirmed that.
She passed when my mom was 4 years old. So my mom grew up without a mother.
And yes, I wish you wouldn't have said that. I mean, she's like, she knows your mother really, really roughed it, and that she really wants you to forgive your mom. I mean, she's an amazing human being, but she didn't know how. There's a lot of things that she wasn't taught because she wasn't there to teach her that bonding, that connection, and therefore that kind of, you didn't grow up understanding a lot of these things. So you have to learn to connect with that's what your journey has been, is learning to connect, because you haven't known how. And I don't know why I don't know anything about you. I'm sorry. But she's telling me that it has affected your relations, like with significant others. It's affected you with all your doubts and your inability to really do that connecting that's needed to find that significant other and bond to them. So that's why she's saying that she's sorry, that she wished that you could have known. But she is confirming that she's had her arms around you and she has loved you like she is now for all your life. You know what I mean? For all of your life. And she almost feels guilty that she had to go and kind of left her struggling that way. But, it is what it is. Yeah.
And somehow I did not realize over time, just even recently, I've learned that I started my business at 17 years old in South America. And then I grew into having stuff for women and my grandma, she had a trade school where she taught women how to sew. And no one told me that until like 2 years ago. She was all these things. She's entrepreneurial and an advocate, all the things that I am. And I did not know that. No one told me that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's yes. Oh my gosh. It's so exciting. Like, I'm so happy that's
I needed it.
Yeah, that's why I said she's just, you and her are just you look alike, you act alike. There's so many traits that you have that are similar, and how beautiful that is.
And so when I'm healing things, I can tell a lot of it wasn't me. And some of the decisions and choices were so like, it was the only choice to make. Seemed like it led to so much pain. But apparently I was on this autopilot programming that now I can heal. And when I heal, I'm healing for generations before me. And for generations to come, their life would be, I don't want to say easier, but it would be different. They would not go through. I literally got silenced.
Yes, sweetie, I don't know if I could say this, but I've got to tell you something. I don't know enough about your hormones or your ovaries or something, but you've got cysts in your ovaries. And there are children that want to be born through you. And you have to work on your health and able to make sure that you have all your children, but there's something going on there. I don't know what it is. I don't.
So I can be candid because I've spoken about it on the podcast here before. So I couldn't have children. My ovaries were suppressed and I had to remove my fallopian tubes, got pregnant through IVF. And I did have those cysts on my ovaries and I miscarried after IVF. And I had to I still have my ovaries, but I've removed my uterus. So I don't have any kids.
That's why that happened. It kind of left me a little speechless, to be honest, and I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't mean to. This is
the work. And I opened the door when I said, go where you go, because I'm very spiritual and I felt that because I didn't have it planned at all. And right somewhere I just heard it and I said, open the door. And I didn't know it was going to go this way at all.
Yeah, well, I want you to know that I had no idea. I do not.
None of us did. I want the listeners and viewers to know we had no idea.
I'm used to just keeping quiet and just saying the minimal because but I feel really comfortable with you.
You have to.
Girl, yes. We are sisters in the same cause.
Yes, we are.
I want you to know something. I know this is going to sound weird.
Nope, but not to me. You just don't know you're the vessel used because these are questions I've been asking.
Yeah, but I want you to know, I know this is going to sound, I could see them. And I see a little boy, and he's a little bit older, and there's a younger girl. Yeah. And
two babies.
Yeah.
I never met them, but I know them.
Yeah. They're beautiful, by the way.
Yes, they have curly hair.
Yes, of course. That's funny because the little boy showed me that more than anything else.
He's so quiet and she's very chatty.
Yeah, honey.
I met them in the spirit realm.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I would just miss them at times. And I only met them when they were itty bitty microscopic things. And I was pregnant and I knew when I miscarried them, even though it was like very, very early, like just a month.
Yeah.
But I knew when their physical, earthly presence within my womb, they left. And I remember I was laying there and I told my ex-husband, I said, they're gone. And I was crying. He was like, don't say that. Let's go to the doctor. And when we went to the doctor confirmed, but I knew when they left. And it took me about 8 months. And that's when I learned hypnotherapy and then that's when I met them. And no, it was longer. It was probably 2 years later. By then they were almost 2. That's when I met them. They were little. They were growing up in heaven, so to speak.
I just can't even believe that we were.
But you just saw my babies. Like, oh my goodness. Well, if they ever give you messages, you will find me. That is just so beautiful to know that I'm not crazy. Because all
And you know
these
what?
interactions I have, and I don't think I'm crazy. I just, for a
No,
lot of people, you
you're
don't.
not.
You tell people, and
You're
more of
not.
this is happening because, and remember what we said off camera. You said, so you are awake. And I said,
Ah,
boy, am I awake. And
I
it's
love
never going to
it.
wane. It's never going to be the
Oh,
same.
I've got to meet you. I've got
Yes,
to meet with you.
yes,
My goodness, we would have so much fun and we would have
yes,
so
we will.
much to talk about.
Yes, we
Wow,
will.
wow,
So
wow.
I know where you're going to be. You're part of that big retreat we're going to have for
Please,
women.
cannot wait.
I'm not
Wait.
sure where. I'm just waiting for guidance and
Yeah.
timing and everything
Well, if
because
you
I
ever
know
want to, you can come over here and have it.
I have to come to.
It's a pretty nice. Right now we had rain, so it's so beautiful here right now. But you know, and it dries up and doesn't look as beautiful and so on. But right now it's a very beautiful time of the year. So
Yes, and I have met you before. I just not in life, but in spirit. I can tell when you
you know
came on
what?
camera.
So do you know that I feel the same way? That's why I told you when I saw you, I said, like, like you glow. Like, do you know what I mean by glow? Glow is your
Yes,
soul. Your soul
you're
is
looking
standing
at
out.
aura.
Yeah.
Yes. I figured
Yeah.
when you said it,
Mm.
it was not artificial glow. It was not a
Oh
cosmetic glow.
no.
It had depth to it. And I said, thank you. But I said, she said something to me. And that's how I felt. Like you said something to me that was
Yeah.
awakening to my spirit. That word was
Yeah. 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 Because
like
that's what
you,
I saw.
it was
That
like a blessing to me, I guess.
wow.
Yeah, it was not, usually people would say, oh, you're so beautiful. But you said, you have a glow.
Yeah.
And that was like your spirit's, your
So I
self,
was
I say.
seeing your beautiful spirit. Yes, you are very beautiful, but I was looking
Thank
at
you.
your beautiful spirit.
That's what I
And
felt.
and you know, it's funny. Oh wow, this is just like so interesting. This is like
Oh,
so I don't even know. It's like we just took off into the twilight.
oh my goodness. Oh, we're going to have fun.
Okay.
We're going to have fun with this. So let me ask you this. What is success to you after everything you've learned and accomplished and gone through in your own personal, professional life? How do you define success, Dr. Virginia?
Success to me is actually understanding what's really important in life. You know, we
Mm,
think that when we're growing up that success is having a home, having a car, taking a vacation here and there. You know what success is having your children honor you, love you,
mm,
respect you, and my greatest success is watching every one of my children going out and fulfilling their dreams, finding the husband for them and understanding what's important because
yes.
they were raised focusing on not superficial things. I don't, you know, I don't give any attention to superficial things. I
Yes.
want what's really important. Yes, I love this clinic. I love my work. I love all of that. But just knowing, number one, I'm a mother.
Yes.
I've got 37 grandchildren and I'm a great grandmother. I mean, my cup runneth over, you know.
Yes.
So that is true success to me, is seeing them happy and healthy, and then being able to fulfill my destiny, my dreams that I had when I was a little girl that I never thought I could possibly do because I was
Mm-hmm.
always told that I couldn't.
Was too
But
big of a dream. Yes.
why not? I couldn't, it just didn't fit in my head. Why not? I already saw it here. So of course it has to happen. So that to me is success. And so my wealth and my success is in mostly my children and my grandchildren and in the service that I serve. And when I go to the clinic, I don't feel like that's my clinic or this is I don't even think of it that way. To me, I feel like it's a place that I have been blessed to be able to go to fulfill my destiny. It's a place that
Mm,
where people could come from all over the world and I'm there to serve them. And I've trained everyone on my staff. If you're here because you have an ego, because you're better than anybody else, or you know, there's no place for you here. There's not even enough room,
right.
you know?
Right.
So we're here I don't care if they're poor, if they're rich, none of that matters. We are here to serve those that come to us. And if
Yes.
we stand next to a patient, we tap into what their needs are, their real needs, and we go with
As a
it.
whole person,
That's,
as
I
an
believe,
it.
success.
I love it. Oh, that is so beautiful. My goodness, we're coming down to the end. Mindset advice to go where I step away from the microphone and the camera, and it's just you and our audience, listeners and viewers. The question I'm going to ask you, Dr. Virginia, for someone who's listening, who feels trapped in their body's pain or in generational cycle, what would you tell them about the possibility of healing according to what you've learned and what you do? I'm going to step away from the mic, and it's all you, my queen sister.
Okay. All right, my dear. So the most important thing to understand is be aware and kind of wake up to the world of realizing that there's a connection to everything. Again, the mind-body connection. Be aware that there's going to be a time where you have to acknowledge your role in what you're attracting in your life. And again, remember that when it comes to the emotional and spiritual things, it's judgment. Judgment really makes us sick, makes us unhappy, and allows a door to open to bring sickness into our body. Another thing is to just be aware that you're just trying, if you have a void, usually people that are sick, they have an emptiness, something is missing. And if you have that void, pay attention to what you're filling that void up with. I mean, sometimes it's food, sometimes it's medications, just things that are not healthy for you. And it's almost like this self-sabotage. And it's almost like our frustration for not understanding what's wrong with us. And so we want to fill our void up with something like soap operas. To me, I haven't watched TV for 30 years, so I wouldn't know about any of that stuff because I spend my time learning and doing productive things. But that's what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to find out what it is that you're filling that void up with and learn to just say to yourself, I am worthy of being healthy. I am worthy of being wholesome. And I accept that I don't have to control other people's life, that I don't have to judge people for what they do and do not do. I'm going to love myself, and I'm going to take every opportunity that I have from all these experiences that I've had. I'm going to take the time to love myself and to learn from all of these experiences. That's the best way. And of course, learning to discipline yourself and doing your research, finding out what you could do to heal yourself, not only your emotional, your mental, your spiritual, but your disciplinary, with the way that you feed yourself. Okay. And I tell people to detox because if you detox on a biochemical level, if you detox on an emotional level, you also have to remember that friendships and toxic relationships and toxic jobs are part of detoxing. So keep all of that in mind. All right. Are you there?
Wow. Wow. So powerful.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
that is
thanks, honey.
that is a mindset bite to go. So, Dr. Virginia, you will obviously be back here, but everyone listening and watching wants to know, what is your favorite way for us to get in contact with you?
Well, the best way is La Luz Wellness Center. There we have our phone number, and it is laluzwellnesscenter.com. And they have the phone number there. You could email us. We respond to all of our messages. So we also have Instagram. We have Facebook. I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't ever get on any of those. I don't even know how.
He's detoxed.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even know how. I'm a little embarrassed to even tell you that. I don't even know how to use social media, but I have a daughter that does filming. So you can go to La Luz Wellness Center and then just follow us there and learn about, I have videos that we produce very often and they're just ideas. And my goal is to wake people up, and make them aware of what they're doing. Because sometimes we just do things on automatic and we're not conscious of it. Okay?
Absolutely. Wow. Well, Dr. Virginia, today we've seen how healing can come from some of the hardest parts of our story with your beautiful, loving light, Maria Laluz, from a mother's journey through all that. And then you became a pioneer voice in helping thousands just find restoration. I am so grateful for you. We are grateful that you're here. And we're so glad that you're now part of our community as we are part of yours. And for all of those listening, all of our info is in the description wherever you're watching or seeing this episode. And if you're just catching a clip, well, they probably won't get this clip. you want to check it out. This is deep healing work that is necessary, body, mind, soul, and spirit when you're working with Dr. Virginia. She already started working with me intentionally and helping me heal as well. So Dr. Virginia, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. And for all the ones listening, remember to keep mastering your mindset. It's not just about how you live and heal and pass resilience. It's also you're doing it for your next generations to come. Thank you so much for sharing this episode with a friend. We'll see you all on the next one. Bye now.
Yes. Take care. Thank you for your work, sweetie. I appreciate you.
Oh my goodness.